All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Talking some hoops. Nice little 5-game slate. A big boy total out there. My man Rio in the booth, as usual with me. Show it off. Yesterday was McKinnon for me. Show her off. Jordan Clarkson, my man Rio, will be in attendance tonight at the game. Talk a little bit about that, Rio. Big boy total. We have in Atlanta some pretty easy chalk pieces, some ways to get different. Pretty fun Tuesday slate heading into Thanksgiving. What's your thoughts on it? Pumped for the game tonight. I imagine you are. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, super excited for the game tonight. Get to go see my Jazz in person. First time going to the new crypto.com arena, so that's going to be fun. Taking my girlfriend, my dad, and one of my buddies, so it should be a good time. Got some good seats, so I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah, this 5-game slate looks pretty good. Discord was popping all morning. A lot of people talking strategy questions and all that stuff. Had a good conversation with some people, so it was nice to get that going early in the day. But yeah, I'm really excited about this game. Going to be fun to see how we can attack this huge 250-point total.
Yeah, we just got a question. 7 players too many. We'll get into that for sure. What a big total that is. Talking about your girl, shout out you, Jasmine. Shout out you. Hope everything going well in life. Enjoy the game tonight. Robin here, Paraby in here, Sean Sullivan, Tweezy, DFS, Rez, Alex Hahn, Richie Smalls, Mike Carr, Huskers, appreciate those words. Hope your day's going well. Huskers, Jasmine, like I said, Kevin in here, Brock, DFS again, Junior catching it live, Hebrew, go call on Tatum. Hebrew's been on fire over here, helping a lot of members have a lot of success, and the Showdown streets as well. It's Monday through Friday. We have Showdown content, usually pretty big prize pools at night, all on the website, projections, ownership, core reports from Hebrew, ToeTagginTambo, our man, is back in the booth. We'll be in the NBA streets. Hamwich, Nadesify, cash reports for myself. These tools will be going live pretty soon, too. End of November, early December. Starting to get a lot of stats and numbers. Our man Boomer's been working on those. So we'll have some tools coming pretty soon. And then the Showdown core report, slate plan, Hebrew does, breaking down top tier, mid-tier, lower tier range. I'm not going to give it away for free, though, today. Puts in a lot of work every single day, up the night before as well. So head over to SHIPITNation.com. That was just NBA. We have NFL. No better day than Thanksgiving. Christmas Day, NBA, Rio, and NFL on Thursdays for Thanksgiving. No two better days right there. Eat some good food. Spend time with family. $1 million up top. Going to be a fun one for sure. Head over to SHIPITNation.com. Oh, I was going to say, it's on the SHIPIT Nation channel. You can use that promo code Mayo. Don't let Tambo hear, though. Get 10% off. And supposed to only do that on the Mayo page, but you guys get it for today as well. So Mayo, 10% off. Head over, get in the Discord if you do join. Rio, any initial thoughts? Anything you want to say? We'll be back tomorrow on the Mayo Media Network talking to big boy NBA slate heading into Thanksgiving. But anything pertaining to this one, or should we get into this 5-gamer?
No, just a scheduling thing. Just so you guys know, I will not be on the Showdown core report tonight. It's going to be Boomer taking that over. You guys will be in great hands, I'm sure. So I'm going to be at the game, so obviously I won't be able to get any content up for that. But yeah, you guys will be good to go there. But yeah, I'm super excited about this slate. It's actually really, really a good one for as small of a slate it is. So I'm excited to get into it.
Oh, yes, we did post a better deal. I did see it on Twitter. I do not see a graphic up for it, Tambo. Here, let me pull it up on Twitter quick. I did see that on Twitter. I did not see the graphic. Here we go. Give me a sec. What is it? Turkey 20. There we go, Tambo. I'm going to put this in the chat right here. Turkey 20 gets you 20% off. Turkey 20. There you go. Use this code. Turkey 20, not Mayo 15. Get you 20% off. No better. We just rolled it out today. We put it on Twitter. Shout out to Mark. Another one. I don't see the screenshot in here yet. $1 million, man. Justin Watson got Swift, got everything. Watson, no Mahomes. Just a sick lineup for $1 million from Mark. So shout out there. Turkey 20. There you go, Aubrey. Turkey 20 gets you 20% off. And our man Boomer, he will be on it tonight. We do have Showdown content for you, though, while you enjoy the game. All right, Rio, let's get into it. 5-game slates. First game of the night. Again, the big story, 252.5, man. What an insane total. We'll get there in 2 games, though. First one, low total, 216. Toronto, Orlando, 216 total. Magic favored by 2. No injury reports on either side that we have to worry about. And this ownership is going to be very, very low in this first game, especially it's the only game that starts at 7 p.m. Eastern. Not much injury news on this one. Waiting on LeVert. Obviously, LeBron later. He's always been questionable. But any low-owned piece? Is it a full fade? What are you doing in this first one?
Yeah, mostly going to be a full fade for me. I mean, these are 2 of the better defensive teams in the league right now. The Magic, really surprisingly, are the second best defense in the league right now, which is kind of crazy to think about because they don't really have any really lockdown defenders, like no Goberts, no McDaniels or OG Anunoby or anything like that. So it's really cool to see this young team perform as well as they have. And that kind of just takes everybody on the Toronto side out for me. They're getting a little bit healthier with Precious Achiuwa coming back, Gary Trent back in the rotation now. So they're going to be running out 9 to 10 guys a game. So it's not the same situation like it was earlier in the year where they had a pretty tight rotation. We were seeing big minutes from Scotty Barnes and Siakam and Schroeder, things like that. Yeah, I don't see much that really stands out. We have some decent projections on the Orlando guys, but yeah, just such a low total game. I'd rather just take a pretty heavy underweight stance and just kind of load up on a couple of these other games. Not sure if you really see anything that stands out for you. I mean, from a matchup perspective, there's really not a ton of holes to poke in either of these teams. They're both pretty sound defensively.
Yeah, I hate this game. Franz is going to get some ownership. He's the only one, I think, that gets a good bit at the small forward position. Solid price at 6.5. I don't like it. I mean, I'm never really a Paulo guy. Goga not playing enough minutes. Siaka, like there's really nothing in this game. I think it's a 5-game slate. You make it a 4-game slate. And go about your day that way. So I'm not even going to recommend anyone. And here we go. Messed it up. First day we rolled this out. That's on me, though. It's $20 off your first month. So that $69 goes down to $49, not 20%. So $20 off your first month. Thank you, Tambo. Tambo, how do you do at King of the Beach? I don't know the exact place. He did not do as well as he wanted, but we did have some members up at near the top. I know the Lay the House, NYG fan. But Tambo got farther than myself. He got farther than a lot of people out there, so Tambo showed well, and I like what he did. I can't 60th place. I'm excited to talk to him about it tomorrow, but I like the very low-owned Washington stack. Of course, didn't get there, but makes some sense. Reviewed it on our channel today. I know I've been busy, Tambo, as you can tell, but I want to talk to you live as well about it. Let's get to the next game on the slate. Cleveland Cavaliers, Philadelphia 76ers, 219 total. Philly is favored by 7.5. We are waiting on injury news. Some of the biggest on the slate right here. Karis LeVert is questionable. D. Mitch is out. Okoro is out. On the Philadelphia side, Oubre is still out. And that's it on that side. Again, the story of this slate is the Atlanta game that we're going to talk about. This game is, again, going to be pretty low owned, I think. I like it more than the Toronto Magic game. And if Karis is out, big bumps on these Cleveland side. Of course, Garland, Strus has been playing amazing. Dean Wade, I played him when he got 4.25 starting. No D-Mitch, though. I have some interest in this game. Obviously not as much as that Hawks game we're going to talk about, though. What do you like?
Yeah, I mean, I have some interest in this game. Also, just really, I think a lot of my interest would be dictated on the Karis LeVert news because obviously you're going to get huge minutes from guys like Garland, Mobley. Strus will get a huge workload too. So with LeVert being in, that would kind of take a lot of these guys out of play for me. Garland's still going to project pretty well, but he seems more like a cash game play to me. He probably gets you 40, and that could be good enough in a cash game, but we're looking for upside in tournaments. So I probably wouldn't be running to click him. I mean, yeah, big spread kind of dictates to me this game has a good chance to blow out. Sixers are playing super well right now. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of just
because most of the build today won't be. It'll be more balanced. People aren't going to go all the way up. So do you think do we have enough value on this slate to go and beat and get a little different roster control? I mean, we've seen like Luka 1% own as of late on some of these slates for this exact reason. Any thoughts there? Because that's the most intriguing for me, really. Because I'm with you. I like these later games that we're going to talk about.
Yeah, Embiid would be probably the only Sixer in play for me. I don't love it though, just because the Cavs are really solid defensive team against centers. They have guys like Jared Allen, Mobley's going to soak up some defense against Embiid, and then Tristan Thompson is just another big body that they'll probably throw out on Embiid for 10 to 12 minutes just to kind of be physical with him, maybe draw a couple fouls and just kind of bang him up a little bit inside. But yeah, there's nothing super big to pinpoint from a matchup perspective. I guess if you wanted to choose any of the Cavs, you can choose a guy like Mobley. The Sixers are bottom 8 rim defense right now, which, I mean, it kind of makes sense. Embiid is somewhat of a defensive presence down low, but he's not like the best lockdown defender. He's just going to kind of alter some shots, try to get some shot blocks, but we've seen him kind of just let teams shoot on him, and so he doesn't draw fouls and give up a ton of his energy because he's going to be using most of it on the offensive side. So if you wanted to make a case for some guys, Mobley has some upside, I think, at 77. We've seen him get to 50 a few times this year. But yeah, I think that the way I kind of want to play this, there's a couple guys in the 3Ks for both teams that I'm a little bit interested in, starting with Craig Porter Jr. He's a undrafted rookie or a second-year player. I'm not exactly sure what year he is, but he's been filling in, been really good last couple of games for LeVert and Donovan Mitchell. Got 25 minutes last game against the Nuggets, and that was a game they actually won. So to see him play that many minutes in a game that they win, I mean, it tells me they like this kid. I mean, he was super aggressive last game, had 10 drives, shot 5 for 6 on those attempts, got to the free throw line 4 times. Being talked about a bunch in the Cleveland media. I haven't really seen any coaching speak about him from JB Bickerstaff, but I think that he's pretty interesting at 3,800. Not looking at a ton of ownership right now, and I think that he's probably, if LeVert is out, he's probably pretty safe from all game flows. If a game's close, he's probably still going to get his 20 minutes. If the game blows out, he'd probably still be out there for blowout minutes too, which would boost his ceiling. So I like him a lot on the Cleveland side. And then Jaden Springer on Philly, he's been getting 20-plus minutes in 3 games straight. Been doing pretty solid, and 3,300 seems like a pretty solid value. You got a decent projection on him right now. And kind of similar situation. He's been playing in close games. He'll probably be out there for blowouts. I think that mostly interested in the 2 value pieces from each side, and then a little bit of interest in Embiid and Evan Mobley.
You didn't mention Batum, but 2 people in chat did. Any thoughts on him? Maybe just one person.
I don't know. I mean, kind of a low usage player in the low 4Ks seems like a pretty good spot to fade for me, but if you want to go there,
you like Craig Porter Jr. more. You don't need to go both.
Yeah, for sure.
All those guys down there are going to be very low owned. Like, if you want to take a shot on Craig Porter, that can maybe get you an Embiid and get you on a different build. But all those guys, the mid-tier build, will definitely be more popular. And like the Garland, like you see D-Mitch out and you expect Mobley, Garland, all these guys to be massive chalk because of this Atlanta game. Everyone's going to Atlanta, so it's going to keep the ownership down for the rest of these guys. So I think of Mobley, Garland, I think they're totally fine. Strus has been playing great ball. I loved it on Friday, I believe it was. I forget who he yammed it on, but he got up there and threw one down. It was cool to see. But he's playing so good. Him and Duncan, man, have transitioned in their game. So I'm good with some of these Cavs. I like this game way more than the first game. And on the 76er side, and of course, Karis LeVert, I would like it all more if Karis was ruled out. That'd be a definite bump for me. And it's just Embiid on the other side. Maxey, I guess you can always play Maxey. 8-8's getting up there, but he does have that upside. So Embiid or Maxey would be the only ones. But I mean, we're going to get to these Trae Youngs in this Atlanta game right here. Pacers, Hawks, 252.5 total. Atlanta favored by 4. Going to the injury report, nothing on the Atlanta side. On the Indy side, Nembhard is questionable. Nothing we have to worry about on the Atlanta side, though. 252.5 total. I don't know the last time we've seen that, Rio, but it's mainly the Hawks side compared to the Indiana side. I think Bruce Brown will get some. Of course, Tyrese always gets some. I don't know. Benedict, Jalen Smith might get a little bit, but the Hawks, Trae Young's going to be very popular. Capella's going to be very popular. Hunter, Kongwu, Jalen Johnson, Bay, Bogdanovich, he's going to be pretty low, and I think Bogdanovich. But the first 5 I named, going to be very popular. I think you can play 4 of them. 5 might be a little much on this 5-game slate. Thoughts on that? How many is too many, and who are your favorites?
Yeah, I could definitely see myself playing 5 people in this game for sure. I mean,
but not on one side.
No, not on one side. I would probably want 3-2, maybe 4-1, but probably 3-2 would be the way I would play it. Yeah, I don't remember the last time we've had a total this high. I think somebody said this is the highest game total since like the 90s or something like that, which is just crazy to think about. Yeah, I haven't seen anything like this high since I've been doing this. So
wasn't it back in the 90s? I thought the games were like 60-40 because they were the best defenders of all time. What 252 and a half? What oldie out there is watching 252 and a half that remembers?
Let us know.
We need to know that answer, but keep it going.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean it's
1995. Wow.
95, yeah. That one maybe it was a Bulls game or something like that. But yeah, these are two of the fastest paced teams, so it makes sense why the total is this high. Both the teams kind of struggle in certain areas on defense. Starting with the Pacers, they're really one of the better 3-point defenses in the league, but maybe that could just be just teams being able to get anything that they want on them inside because they're dead last in rim defense. Dead last in rim defense and the best 3-point defense in terms of shots made behind a 3-point line. So I think we want to look at some of the big men like a Jalen Johnson, Clint Capella. They should have really solid matchups. And on the Hawks side, they're bottom 4 in rim defense and a bottom 9 3-point defense. So really anybody on Indy is in play. Obviously Halliburton, Miles Turner, Bruce Brown going to get a lot of ownership. But yeah, I think I'm trying to decide how I want to attack this game because Tyrese Halliburton, obviously one of the better spend ups. Not looking at a ton of ownership right now. I do have a little bit of a concern with the defender he's going to be seeing on the other side of DeJounte Murray because he's done a really, really good job of shutting down opposing point guards this year. And I know Halliburton he's a stud, one of the best players in the league right now, so he can obviously overcome any matchup that's thrown in front of him. But it is definitely worth noting. I mean, he can get there in a bunch of different ways with huge assist totals. He's had some big steal games before, so he could definitely get there. But I do see a little bit of a downside. I think that there are some low-owned pieces on the Pacers that we should be looking to a little bit. And Miles Turner, at 7,100, I have some interest in him too. I mean, he's going to be getting most of his offensive done behind a 3-point line. And like I said earlier, the Hawks struggle defending the 3-point line. He could be just dragging Clint Capella out there and just launching from deep a bunch. And I think people will be pretty off of him after having 2 down games. But if you look at the like more in-depth view of why those games kind of went bad for him, blowout against the Magic, didn't have to play much in the second half. And then the game before that, they played the Sixers where he was in foul trouble. I think he probably only played like 13 or 14 minutes, had 4 or 5 fouls. He played 19 minutes. He had 3 fouls in the first half, so definitely did not see his full minutes workload. Definitely a wide range of outcomes for Miles Turner, but he's had 40-plus multiple times this year, and I think he has some sneaky upside at 7,100. I don't really love Buddy Hield. His minutes range is just so up and down right now. He can get somewhere in the teens if he's not doing well. I mean, Carlisle's pretty quick to pull the plug on him. Bruce Brown is going to be seeing 30% ownership. I think a small pivot leverage spot you can do is Benedict Mathurin at 5,300, only shooting guard eligible, which kind of sucks. But I mean, he's only 3 games removed from going for 50 DraftKings points and 43 DraftKings points, and seems like he's getting little to no ownership. So I like him at 5,300. I think the matchup is probably pretty good for a player like Obi Toppin, but hard to want to invest into him right now when he also has really everybody on the Pacers outside of Halliburton and Bruce Brown have a pretty wide range of outcomes in terms of their minutes, but the matchup is good for a lot of these guys. I'm seeing Jalen Smith right now with a pretty solid projection, some ownership, only center eligible. So I don't know if I love that. If Nembhard is in or out, I mean, that could open up some minutes for a TJ McConnell. Always been a really solid fantasy producer, so he's definitely interesting. And then, yeah, on the Hawks side, Trey's role right now is really good, averaging 17 drives a game. Hasn't really been shooting the ball well, missing a ton of layups, only shooting 38%. But a lot of his scoring upside is kind of dictated by how much he gets to the free throw line, and he's been doing that a lot better this year, last couple of games. So I definitely like him. DeJounte Murray is just a straight line pivot, 1,100 cheaper. Probably gets a weaker defender in Tyrese Halliburton on the other side. I think Bruce Brown would probably get the Trae Young matchup. DeJounte's been pretty bad the past couple of games, but upside is definitely still there, and you're getting a third of the ownership on him. So he's obviously in play. I like him. I think I'd slightly prefer Trae if I was choosing one or the other. Definitely would want to be max one of those two. And Jalen Johnson, probably my favorite play on the whole slate. This matchup is one that he could definitely see a ton of success in. Super high paced game. Going to be out in transition a bunch. Pacers are the third worst team in transition defense. They give up 1.24 points per possession. His minutes have been really, really strong since he became the starter. 6,100 is a really good price tag, and I'm hoping that the ownership number holds in the mid-teens because I think he's just an awesome play. 6,100. Clint Capella, same story. He's a really good play today, 5,700. If you wanted to save salary, you can go down, save $1,000 and go to Okongwu. They're going to be splitting the center minutes. Matchup is just as good as Clint Capella. And then I'll probably just be max one of the Bogdan, Hunter, Sadiq Bey grouping. Probably prefer Bey just for the price tag. But yeah, I mean, all in all, there's a ton of ways this game could go, a lot of ways to attack it. So I'm interested to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, great breakdown. There's so many options. I'll say a couple things. Actually, I'll go to my breakdown, then we'll get to a couple I thought interesting questions in chat. But so one of the questions I guess pertains Capella Okongwu. Would you make a rule max one? I definitely would not. A lot of the reason they are splitting 48 center minutes. So yes, the upside is capped to an extent. They still, for their price, both have the upside. And on this 5-game slate, center's fine, but they could easily both be the only centers and get there in 48 minutes. So I like that. The second point, what I love that you were talking about, there's a clear guys that are going to get a lot of ownership. Trae, Capella, Jalen Johnson, Okongwu, Bruce Brown's going to get a decent amount. DeAndre Hunter. Then that group's in their own tier. And I like some of those guys, but I like just playing a couple of them, mixing and matching, and then grabbing the Tyrese, the DeJountes, the Miles Turner, Sadiq Beys, Jalen Smith. I think you said a little bit of Mathurin, and people in chat were like, you're the Mathurin whisperer. I think that's the big boost for, like, if Nembhard was out, I would give a big boost to Mathurin there. The minutes would be safer, maybe some extra an extra room for a couple more minutes as well. I don't like Buddy. I agree with you there. I mean, I'm not listing all these low-owned guys. Miles Turner and Tyrese, I think, are my favorites. Going to the other side of the chalky spot, I'm always Tyrese. I mean, I think he's been saying for a while, I thought he was a top 5 point guard. The dude's a complete stud. I get it. A little scary with DeJounte, but there's so many pick and rolls. Better always beats better D. And you can go to the same side with DeJounte. I think Tyrese is a great defender too. Very long, but I don't care about that as much. DeJounte would be my least favorite, I think, of everyone I mentioned, just because his price you can't miss. And I like Trae Young more. I even think Garland and Mobley are a little more interesting, but I really like Bey, really like Tyrese, really like Miles Turner at the ownership down there. So I'll come to you with a couple questions rounding out this game. Spend a lot of time on it, but it is the most popular. Hey, I don't think anything's too many. Like 5 Hawks, that feels a little much, but I think 4 is totally fine. You have 7 guys in this game. Someone mentioned earlier, fine. 2 questions. Would you make this rule? I mentioned it. I would not make the Capella Okongwu rule for the nature of this slate and the pricing. And then there was another one. Would you avoid Turner and Capella? I also would not make this rule. And I think it's interesting if you played both of them at center. Talk about those 2 questions. Final thoughts on this game.
So yeah, I think start with the first one, Junior. I think it's fine to play Turner and Capella together. Normally I wouldn't want to do that, but just because they're competing for somewhat of the upside with their rebounding. But Turner is he's not going to get 15, 17 rebounds a game. He's going to be getting some shot blocks. He's going to be getting a lot of his upside from the scoring. So I think that they're totally fine to play together. I would probably be max one of Okongwu and Capella. I don't know if I don't have the numbers in front of me, but we haven't seen both of them go off in a game together yet. I mean, a lot of Okongwu's best games, I think he's getting higher minutes, which obviously takes some of the upside away from Capella when you're stealing minutes. Yeah, a lot of Okongwu's games where he's in the upper 20s. Capella's been in the upper 20s also, and I think obviously you'd rather just take the 1K savings and get a Kongwu if they're going to be scoring the same points. So I would probably be max one of those guys.
What's the max amount of pieces you'd have in this game?
I mean, you could probably get away with 6. I think I don't think I'd want to get 7. I think there are some other solid plays, and I like some plays in the Lakers and Jazz game too. So I don't want to pigeonhole myself too much with my roster construction and just load up on this game, because I don't think that it's going to be a situation where we see 4 to 5 flames from 5 players on like each side. I think we'll probably be 2 guys on the Pacers that are going off, and then I could see 3 probably on the Hawks having good games. I don't know if I could see 4 or 5 from each team.
Makes sense. It's still a 5-game slate, and like the first game was gross, so I'm pretty much approaching as a 4-game slate, but the Cavs side was still pretty interesting. These next 2 games, we have some stuff on the Portland side if LeBron were to sit. So yeah, I agree with you. I would be fine with 7. You mentioned that though, Rio. You said you would make that rule, correct?
Yeah,
I agree.
Next one, Trey and Murray.
Yeah, because I would like the Garlands, the Mobleys. I'd like some other team upside more. The Capella Okongwu stuff's interesting. I was going through it. Most games it is either one of them. There's been some who's like 35, 29, 33, 20, which I think would be enough on this slate. But yeah, you do have to run pretty good to get that outcome. So I get that. And final thoughts on Mathurin. Do you think Nembhard has a big deal to do, or would be a big boost for him? Because I do think he'll be very low owned and could be interesting in this game. He can always get hot.
Yeah, I think that Nembhard would probably just take TJ McConnell out of the rotation. I think Mathurin's minutes are probably pretty solid. It's just it's dependent on how well he's playing, really, because we've seen a pretty wide range of outcomes for all of these secondary guys on the Pacers. It's just kind of dictated on how well you're playing. Yeah, I mean, I really like him as a low-owned piece in, a straight pivot from Bruce Brown, he's not like a prolific scorer by any means. And I could just see Bruce Mathurin having a good game in this type of matchup.
High-paced game. Shots will be there. I like Mathurin too, as low-owned. I mean, give me the low-owned Tyrese at 10%, Bay down there. There's enough low-owned piece in this game too. Mix it with some of those chalky guys. That's how you approach it. I like it. You can get different in your last couple spots. So 252.5 total. It's not one definitely I'll be ignoring. Maybe a min 2, min 3, something like that. Min 2 is very safe, but I don't want to leave with just one. I do know that. Again, Turkey 20 is the deal that came out today, our new promo. Use that code, gets you $20 off your first payment. So $69 a month goes down to $49 a month. 3-game NFL slate coming up. Showdown on NFL for Friday. That'll be very fun. No MMA this week. It'll be back, though. A couple of good cards to finish out the year. Of course, NBA still going on. NHL going on as well. Use that code Turkey20, $20 off your first month. Hit that like button as well. Helps us out a ton. We appreciate it. Hope everybody out there watching live, watching on Play Black, having a good day. Next game on the slate, 2 games left. Portland Trail Blazers, Phoenix Suns, 223.5 total. Phoenix favored by 13. Big boy spread. Malcolm Brogdon is questionable. So him, Karis, LeBron, the big Q tags. LeBron has been Q for a while, keeps playing. Brogdon Q, Scoot still out. Anthony Simon still out. On the Phoenix side, Bradley Beal is out. We're not waiting on any news. This game, in terms of ownership, don't think on the Sun side really much at all. Don't even think on the Portland side. Unless Brogdon is out, I think this game will be pretty low owned. I think it's the Atlanta side that's going to be the highest owned, and then probably that last Utah Lakers game in terms of ownership. But what are you doing in this game?
Yeah, so I mean, in my one lineup, I would probably not have any pieces from this game. But if you're building 20 to 150, I think that it does make a little bit of sense to get some exposure to Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. Matchup is going to be really good for both of them. Slightly better for Devin Booker. His role has been really good. He's seeing his full minutes workload again since coming back from the injury. Leading the team in usage rate, touch time, drives, assist rate, all the meaningful ball handling role he has. I know for a fact that he's got a 60 to 70 point game within his range of outcomes, and I think it's coming pretty soon. Not sure if it is going to happen in a game against the Blazers where they're favored by 13. Probably won't be needed for upper 30s minutes, but you're going to get really like a huge ownership discount if you play any one of Kevin Durant and Booker. And I think that probably the smartest way to play it, because if you're getting your absolute ceiling performance from one of these guys, it's likely that the game is going to be close. So I would probably make a rule, if one of Devin Booker or Durant, at least one of the Jeremy Grant, Shaedon Sharpe, DeAndre Ayton group. And
I like that.
Yeah, just kind of to boost up the upside of your lineup. If you're getting that absolute ceiling performance from any of these guys, it's probably got to be in a close game. That's probably how I would attack it if I were to play it. I won't be playing this game. I think this is just a cross off with just it being such a high spread, low total. So I'm good fading this game.
Yeah, I'm with you. If Brogdon were to be out, I don't know. Maybe the Nurkic revenge game, I guess, would be the only piece. Obviously, that has nothing to do with Brogdon being out. Maybe that's my favorite way to approach this game. The Booker, I can't play Booker over a guy like Trae Young, over a guy like Tyrese in the game environment like that, Garland, Mobley. So, yeah, maybe it'd just be a little Nurkic revenge or nothing for me in this game. You can make a 5-game slate, a 3-game slate, though, as well. Definitely, I still like this game. Would prefer the Nurkic, the Bookers. I don't even know. I guess them over the Toronto-Orlando side, but pretty clear the good games today. Eggs Benedict, phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. I know you're talking about Benedict. Mathurin and then our boy Marley. Shipping NBA tonight. I'm looking forward to seeing you do it, Marley. Not talking fights this week. Have a great Thanksgiving, my man. Last game on the slate. Rio will be in attendance. Is it a game? Stack them up. Utah Jazz, Los Angeles Lakers, 238.5 total. Lakers favored by 7.5. On the injury report, Walker Kessler still out for Utah. LeBron still questionable for the Lakers. I assume you think LeBron will play. If you think differently, give me something. He likes AD. Our man Nathan here likes some AD. Do you like any AD? What are you doing in this as well? And I guess, yeah, that's on me. I'm talking Nurkic revenge. I didn't even mention Ayton revenge. And he actually does. I don't know how much beef with players, maybe, but he's got beef definitely with his organization or something. So shame on me talking Nurk and not Ayton. Maybe go and get some Ayton there. Those would be my favorite 2 plays. What are you doing in this one?
I could see Chauncey Billups just boosting him up his minutes in this one with Billups being ex-player, wasn't out of the NBA too long ago. So I could see him wanting to give Ayton a bigger offensive role tonight. And Nurkic is not a good defender by any means. So Ayton definitely it would be in that grouping if I'm playing one of Booker or Durant.
Yeah, shame on me. Thank you. You might have saved me some. I got to boost my Ayton exposure. Nurkic or not Ayton. I don't know. What you got in this one?
Yeah, so this game this is the second highest total on the slate. Pretty close-ish spread. I'm seeing 8.5 right now. I can definitely see the Jazz have been playing teams really competitive this year. And obviously I know that because I watch all their games being a Jazz fan, but really encouraging seeing them play the Suns back-to-back and play them really close in both of those games. So I definitely think that they could keep this game close. And if they do, I think you could see a pretty solid game from a guy like Lauri Markkanen. The Lakers are more of a 3-point funnel this year with obviously Anthony Davis down low. He's one of the really, really strong rim protectors in the league, and definitely you don't want to attack him down low. He's got huge block upside and can really alter a lot of shots. So I think the Jazz will just be launching from 3, and Lauri been getting his price coming down a little bit with Clarkson kind of being the one to go off lately. Obviously, Lauri had the huge 70-pointer last game against the Suns in double overtime in 50 minutes. So, yeah, I like him a lot. I think he could have a pretty solid scoring game. Not sure how big the upside can be in just a regular regulation game. Seen him get up to 55-ish in a couple of games earlier in the year when he was shooting really well. His rebounding has been up too with John Collins entering the lineup. So yeah, I have some interest in Lauri. Same thing with Clarkson. He's been awesome lately. Been the best offensive player for the Jazz in the past week or two. 7.3K price tag is pretty tough, but he's playing like an 8K player right now, so you could definitely consider him. John Collins has been awesome, but usually don't like to play centers versus Anthony Davis. Just it brings a little bit of foul risk, and he'll be pretty undersized. So I could see him kind of getting played off the floor a little bit. But yeah, Keontae George, that's probably one of my favorite plays on the slate too. Definitely my favorite play on the Jazz side. I mean, his role since entering starting lineup has been really good. He's leading the team in touch time in that span. His assist rate is way up. Haven't seen him put together a full performance as a NBA player yet. He has not been shooting the ball well, which is kind of expected as a rookie. We've seen Scoot Henderson struggle. We know he's super talented and he'll get it figured out eventually. But Keontae George, minutes have been really good. The assist rate is good. I mean, the matchup is pretty good against D'Angelo Russell, and he'll probably see D'Angelo Russell and then maybe Reeves when he comes in. Sorry, I'm going to mute real quick. Title, if you want to take over.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, you're good. As far as Obaji, we'll let Rio touch on him. He's definitely going to be very low owned. As far as what I see in this game, so I'm going to be interested to hear Rio's take. Me as a sec on LeBron. I'm expecting him to play, but they do play tomorrow against Dallas. I didn't look if it's on national TV. I would assume probably. I think ESPN sells the Wednesdays the afternoon, but regardless, that's a big game against Dallas. He keeps being Q and he keeps playing. But I mentioned this because 9.9K is a good price tag. He's been a beast as of late. Multi-position eligibility. I think he's a very solid play, but there's not many pivots. You do have that Portland game, assuming we get it 30 minutes before. Probably won't have the Atlanta game because that's at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, Lakers game at 10. And actually, I say that the Suns game's at 9 p.m. Eastern, so it's a 1 hour window. If I am playing LeBron, I probably want it to be in the util spot so I can just go right to AD for 200 less is how I'd approach it. But I'd make sure that util spot, or at least I have a couple positions available to have a pivot in mind. But if you're good, you're unmuted.
Yeah,
so, any thoughts on the LeBron thing? I assume he plays, but you have to always look ahead with them. And I have a plan if he is out, because the positions are different. So talk about that. Finish your thoughts on this game.
Yeah, that's definitely the way to play it. Put him in the util spot. Try to save a couple. I think AD might be.
So this is actually cheaper. They think Bron might sit for tomorrow's game. Davis will be in. So that's very interesting. Because then, but plan because it might be vice versa. Who would know? And then make sure to have a spot left. Sorry, Hebrew.
No, that's a really good point that Rob made. I still don't know how serious these players are taking the in-season tournament, but this is an in-season tournament game, and I think the Lakers can clinch their region or their bracket if they win. So, I mean, they have that incentive.
Probably go that way. Yeah.
Yeah. So, this is like
more comfortable playing LeBron because maybe people are scared about that. Who knows nowadays if people are scared because it's Q every time and he's always playing, but who knows?
Yeah, I think a questionable tag with LeBron and the game time decision is more so probable. Just with the new NBA rules, they have to kind of pick and choose the spots where they can sit their guys. They have to make up these fake injuries. I don't think that this is really something that's been bothering him. It's just they're gonna try to find a time where they can sit him out. So I do think he plays tonight, and he's in a great spot. Lauri Markkanen has really. I mean, they're throwing him to the wolves right now. He had to guard Kevin Durant for 2 games, and Durant just reminded everybody why he's still one of the greatest scorers in the league. And I mean, LeBron is doing LeBron things too. The last 3 games, 35 plus minutes in 3 straight, gone for 71, 60, 62 in those games. Yeah, I mean, Lauri is not going to be able to stay in front of LeBron. I could definitely see this game being close and LeBron putting up another big game. But yeah, I don't know what the ownership looks pretty high on him. So depending on how your lineup is shaking out, if you have LeBron in the util spot and you just need a lower owned pivot, if you see some guys ahead of you that they probably have LeBron, you can definitely make the case for Anthony Davis. Has been kind of taking a back seat lately, but earlier in the year, he was kind of taking over the offense. His upside is still big, still in the 60s, got a ton of block upside. We'll have a matchup advantage over John Collins. So Anthony Davis is definitely very much in play. But yeah, I definitely prefer LeBron to those two. But these secondary guys, I mean, the matchup is really, really good for D'Angelo Russell too. It's just his minutes are really, really down right now. I mean, he's losing closing minutes to guys like Taurean Prince and Austin Reeves. That's a tough scene. We've seen the upside from him. He's a really, really good scorer, but I'm not really too sure why he's losing these minutes. I'm just assuming it's for defense, but the matchup for him is really, really good. So I'll keep him in my player pool. I don't love it though. It's hard to click on him. I think I would probably prefer the $900 savings, or $1,000 savings to Austin Reeves, who's been playing really, really well too. And obviously he's getting the closing minutes, so he'll be out there for upper 20s, maybe we'll hit 30 minutes. Can get it done in multiple ways, like Austin Reeves a little bit. Cam Reddish, the matchup in theory is pretty good for him, but 4,800, I don't think you really need to go there. He might just be a pivot to some of those guys in that same range. But again, I think the small forward, power forward in the mid to low 4Ks with low usage, I would like to look elsewhere if I can.
Any Rui or Abaji? And he was talking about D-Russ, Nate, about losing closing run. Any Rui or Abaji, though? I'm always a sucker for Rui. If you wanted like the Embiid build or kind of double spend-ish, a Tyrese, something like that, a Tyrese Trey, got to get down there. Any thoughts down there?
I don't really have a huge lean on him. I mean, he's got really, really high scoring upside. He got up to 32 minutes last game versus Houston, so maybe the matchup kind of bodes a little bit better for him than a guy like Christian Wood. But I don't have a strong take on him. I don't think I would go to Agbaji here. I mean, yeah, he saw 34 minutes in double overtime last game and only got to 12 fantasy points. I mean, I talked about it before. Like, that's how wide his range of outcomes is. It's low teens, but he can get you to the mid to almost 30 sometimes if things are going well. Go ahead.
Tucker definitely is not a sneaky play, unfortunately, but he is a good play. He is definitely a good play. He is not sneaky. Talk about a little revenge as well. And again, I bring it up. I always talk about it. Basketball is the one sport I actually value it a bit because you have a lot of control. You touch the ball a lot, whether you actually shoot the ball or not. Whereas baseball, you're going to try and hit the ball regardless who you're playing. NFL, a lot of touchdown variants, et cetera, with that. And THT likes to chalk. So unfortunately, he's not sneaky though, but definitely a great play. And then Murray or Garland, interesting, very close. I'm on the Trey game, and the Bays, the Hunters, they just have so many guys. So I think DeJounte is my odd man out. So I think Garland definitely would be Garland for me if Karras is out. Pretty close, though. You can't go wrong with either. Any thoughts there? And I keep interrupting you if you keep finishing whatever you got to say about this game.
No, you're all good. Yeah, in terms of Murray versus Garland, I think it'd be Murray for me if LeVert is in. If LeVert is out, then probably Garland. Just his role will be really, really good, and we'll see a ton of minutes. Yeah, I'm not sure what to do with the THT stuff. I also talked about this before with the Jazz. They're pretty deep at the guard spot. They got, you're mixing in Colin Sexton, Keontae George, Jordan Clarkson, THT. Chris Dunn will mix in sometimes too. I mean, Agbaji is kind of a small forward, power forward, but he'll mix in at the two sometimes also. So the range is pretty wide for him. Yeah, I don't know if I want to chase the 40-point game off the bench. It's good to know that he does have that in his bag off the bench, but I think the most likely outcome is probably around upper teens minutes and probably gets to 20 or so DraftKings points.
You're talking about THT, right?
Yeah, THT.
So you prefer right in that range, a Kongwu 4.7, Bay 4.6, Rui 4.5. That's my boy. Sexton 4.5. Jalen Smith 4.2. Do you like any of those guys? Hunter's 4.9, so a little more expensive. I think a lot of it has to do with just where he's priced, and he projects. At least I have him projected better than Sadiq Bey, pretty close. But I think that's why THE is going to be so owned. You need someone in that mid 4K range. Any of those scream as great pivots. Benedict down there as well. Just trying to think of a couple names to get away from the chalk if you want to go that route.
It's probably just the positional stuff because I like Okongwu and Sadiq Bey much better, but that's power forward and center only. So it's just comes down to the lineup construction thing, which is probably why he's getting so much ownership right now. I'm just trying to get away from the low 4K guys that don't really have a ton of usage. And I mean, if I just had a forward spot available, I would choose Sadiq Bey over him, just knowing that he's going to be seeing close to 30 minutes in a super high scoring game, ton of offense in there. He's been playing really well too. I would just take Sadiq Bey just one for one, but obviously it all comes down to your roster construction.
Yeah, shooting guard, small forward eligibility. That's a great shout. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
Couple things before we get on out of here. Is it Embiid fade night? We touched on Embiid. I mean, he's going to be low owned. It's a different roster construction. So those are the days I can always get behind Embiid for some upside. Before we close it out, did we touch on Tobias? Yeah, we didn't. We thought it was pretty much Embiid. I liked the little Maxey. I thought he was fine as a contrarian spend, but I thought it was just those two. You don't have to worry about anything else. My slate overview is pretty obvious. That 252.5 total Hawks Pacers game is great. And then I think this last game, Bron's an interesting spend up. Some low THCs down there is chalk, but you can go marketing, contrarian spend. There's a lot of options in that late game too. Some pretty big spreads. I hate that first game. Phoenix kind of tough to get to because of the spread of that one. So make it a 5-game slate, make it a 3-game slate or something like that. Is how I'm going to go about it. Enough low on pieces in these good games to make a good roster. So that's my final thoughts. What are your final thoughts before we get on out of here?
Yeah, I mean, this slate is just going to be kind of turning it into a 2-gamer for me. I'm going to stack up the main pieces in the Atlanta and Indiana game. I'll have a couple pieces in the Lakers game, and then all the value guys that I mentioned in the Cleveland Philly game, hoping that it blows out. Give me Craig Porter and Jaden Springer as my value pieces. Let me get to a LeBron, Laurie type build, or Halliburton and Trey, something along those lines. But yeah, just mainly a 2-gamer, and then picking some values from the other games is how I'm going to be playing it.
I like it. You and I lockstep right there. Excited for Boomer's numbers? Oh yeah, Boomer's numbers. We got projections up on the site. Will be updated throughout lock as always with injury news, core reports, cash reports. Everything will be up on the site. Get in the Discord if you do join. And if you do join, make sure you use that promo code. Best one came out today. Turkey20, $20 off your first month. NBA, NFL, huge week for NFL. NHL going on. MMA, PGA will be back in a couple, I don't know if it's like a month, 2 months, swing season coming up. PGA we offer as well over here. Projections for all the sports. Ownership as well. Get in the Discord if you do join. Hit that like. Hit that subscribe on your way out. We appreciate all of you a lot. We'll see you in the Discord. For my man Rio, put that jersey up one more time. Enjoy that game. Enjoy the game, Jasmine. I know you're still watching. For Rio, I'm Titletown. Good luck, everybody.